I do believe that we'll have a few more trickle through. I believe there is a form up here on the bleachers that if you've not received one, make sure you grab one, as Coach will kind of go through in a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and open up in a word of prayer, and then I will introduce Coach Davie, and we will go from there. Let me pray. God, we just thank you so much for today. I thank you, first and foremost, that you are sovereign, that you are good, and you can be trusted. God, we just ask that you continue to direct the steps of our school, and specifically our football program. And we trust you in every situation. God, we praise you because we know that you have our best interest in mind, that you love us, and you have great direction for our school, and specifically our football program. So we come to you tonight just thanking you and honoring you in how we go about our daily lives, and specifically in the world of athletics. God, we ask that you be here tonight with us. We thank you so much for Coach Davie. We thank you for his heart. We thank you for his vision. God, we just ask that you would continue to allow us to honor you in everything that we say and we do. We love you so much. In Jesus' name, amen. Guys, we appreciate you being here tonight. I know transitioning from the theater down here to the gym, appreciate y'all's flexibility. Just a couple of things before I introduce Coach. I realize and recognize something that is super important that I think is worth mentioning. 10 and a half months ago, many of you guys were probably sitting in the same seat. So the idea of transition, the idea of change, and quite frankly, to some degree, a different direction is delicate and difficult. So I see and recognize the pain that, in a sense, is caused when we continue to have a different course of action. But I do know this. I think this is what's important to remember. God is, he has been, and he will continue to be faithful. I think that is so important for us to be able to hang on to. Many of you guys have been here a long time. I've been here 15 years, and I have seen God be faithful in all of our programs. A lot of you guys maybe the last couple of years transitioned to Hebron. I can certainly say with true conviction, I have watched this program grow from a place to where we were everyone's desired Friday night football game to a place to be one of the best programs in the state of Georgia. So if you're wondering where my heart is with the direction of our football program, I want you guys to understand there is one ultimate conviction. That is to be honor Christ in how this program is being led. And so that is the 100% conviction as we continue to lead this program, is it is going to be a program that honors Jesus. And he will continue to take care of this football program. I also know this, as we continue to transition, there is obviously a lot of questions, potential concerns. Tonight we're going to get to hear from Coach. What my hope is, we want this setting to hear the heart and the direction and the excitement of what's next. But we also know, hey, there's probably potential questions that you may have specifically. Some of those can reflect the greater whole, and I think is really appropriate. But there may be specific questions and concerns that is convicting to you. If that is something that you want to speak and Coach, that may be more appropriate in private, or if there's conversations that you want to have with Dr. Taylor, who is here tonight, or myself, we're going to stay here after. I'm happy to talk and to be able to address those. But tonight is to talk through the excitement of what the direction is. And so with that, okay, I'm excited to be able to introduce to you guys our next head coach, our 8th in program history, Coach Davie.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, guys, thank you for having me tonight. I got my iPad here with a couple of notes on it just to keep me on page, right? So I won't go too long. I see a lot of faces in the crowd that I know, a lot of faces that I have already talked with before I served for this role, and a lot of faces I talked to after. So welcome, everybody. First, I would like to say, I really, really, really want to thank you for trusting me with something that's really important in your lives, which is your son. I know being a dad of 3, that is the most important thing in some of our lives, right? That we have our kids in the environments we have them in and the people we entrust them to. So I really appreciate that. I'll start that first and foremost. And then secondly, I want to go into this. I truly believe I'm standing here in front of you because I'm in a calling that God has placed on my life. About a week ago, or 2 weeks ago now, I start understanding the situation that was going on with Coach Dallas. And from there, I was asked to come in and do an interview for this job. And with a lot of prayer from my wife and myself and a lot of friends that I truly believe and trust in, I came to the conclusion that I should go forward with it. And as I look back on it, God had ordered my steps to this moment. And if I can go through some of that for you, just thinking back to 2013, when I was done playing football, I started my first coaching role, and it was on Northwestern University, the university I graduated from, and it was on the recruiting staff. And from that day, I thought I wanted to be a coach, and I started going to interviews, and I interviewed for a couple colleges the year after I was done with that. And what I settled on is I want to be with my family, and I didn't want to be on the road and in that college coaching life. And from there, I went into the real world, got a real job, and I just started coaching in high school. And that was some of the most fulfilling moments and years of my life in 2015 when I started that. And from that path, this whole coaching thing started. And everywhere I went, everywhere I moved, we moved to Atlanta in 2022. I always had a coaching job. I always coached at a high school, and that was just my passion. And I would do it for free at times. And the other thing along with that is my most highest desire was developing young men when I did that coaching. So that was a real big desire for me, that the young men see my heart and it developed into godly, high character young men. And going back to high school, I had a couple coaches in my life that really pushed me to be a coach when I thought about, okay, what am I gonna do after football? And I thought about the coach path. And I could think of my high school coach, Coach Villers, and I talked about him today on the podcast. He was a guy that when I first met him, I walked up to him. He told me, he said, come here. He looked at my hand. He said, let me see your hand. He said, you're gonna be my quarterback? And he said, you're gonna go to school for free. And that was the first time I feel like somebody believed in me, and I still remember that like it was yesterday. So all it takes is a little bit of belief, and I was able to go down that road. My mom knew nothing about college football. Nobody in my family has ever played college football. So I really believe Coach Villers planted a seed in me, and that seed grew into something special. All right, going now into high school, I met my wife, and my wife is over here, Alexandra, and we have 3 beautiful boys. If you've seen the internet, you saw our family picture, and those boys are all throughout Hebron. So I have a 1st grader, I have a 3rd grader, and I have an 8th grader at Hebron. And I say that to say, during my interview process, one of the questions asked was about stability. And I feel like I'm standing here, and I have no plans to go anywhere. And I'll be here for as long as God will have me here, according to his will, just to assure that. So going back down, I'm going to go back to my notes here. I'm kind of getting on a, so looking at calling, not chasing, that's what I'm kind of getting into. And when I started, as far as my foundation, all the coaches in college that kind of built me up and led me to this opportunity and this moment right here in my life is why I'm standing here. And that's why I truly say I'm standing here because of a calling, all right? So we have a sheet in front of you, and I want to go down the list of that sheet. And if you do have a question while we're going over this, I'm going to welcome that question to be asked. I just ask that it be a question that is not pertaining to the subject that we're talking to right now. And after we're done, we can talk about different topics. So the first one is faith is our foundation. So I talked to the boys when I was introduced, and I really want to drive this home and not just talk about it, but we're really going to do things to show that faith is going to be our foundation. So one thing we're going to do that we've been doing, we're going to pray after practice. Every practice that ends, we're going to pray, or it's going to be some type of prayer, either for myself or one of the players. So faith is going to be our foundation. We're committed to developing young men into godly men while preparing them to compete with excellence on the football field and in life. So that's just something that we don't say. It's not going to be a switch that we turn on and off. It's going to be something that we do on a daily basis, all right? I really want people to understand my why and what the program why would be. Our purpose to intentionally develop young men faith, character, and discipline, all right? We're going to equip them to compete with confidence, resilience, and purpose on and off the field. We pursue growth that lasts beyond the scoreboard. So as I go into my NFL career, I ended up making it to the NFL. And in the football world, NFL stands for not for long, right? Because I didn't stay there too long. But the thing, when I look back on that career and look back on my football career and my playing time, I did have coaches around me that built me up as a great young man. I was a high character young man, and that was due to my coaches. So even though football is not going to last for long, the things that we learn from football can last a lifetime. So that's one point as far as learning what our why is. We're going to pursue things beyond the scoreboard. So it's more important than football. We're going into leadership and coaching staff. I have a couple of my coaches here. And one thing I want to say is me alone is not going to be what makes your kid a great character young man, a great football player. It's going to be the people I put around me. So one thing that I've learned in life is to put people around you that are way smarter than you. And when you do that, the sky is the limit. So I'm going to continue to find coaches that I put around me that are way smarter than me in life, probably have more experience than me, way smarter than me on the football, X's and O's. And one saying that I live by is that you become the average of 3 or 4 people you hang around the most. So that rings true every single day. All right, I'm gonna keep riding along here. Our program philosophy is gonna be faith, man, player. And that goes back to football is for a short time and life is for a long time. So faith anchors our decisions. So character shapes daily habits and football development follows intentional growth. We develop men first and we trust the process. So without getting into what's important now, trusting the process every day is gonna be what I preach over and over and over again. So if your kid comes home and is like, man, I'm having a hard time, I'm not getting on the field, I think your word to them is, hey, what are you doing daily, right, to reach your goals? And in that, you're preaching trust in the process, right? So if you can do the small things daily to reach your goals, you're trusting the process. And there'll be many more things entailed with that, but those are some small things that we can preach to our kids as well. And then individual development. I know a lot of coaches say we're going to develop the individual. One thing I'll promise you, development is promised, but playing time will be earned, all right? I want to repeat that again, and I'll say it the other way. Playing time is earned, development is promised. So your kid will be developed, whether it be mentally developed as a high character young man or with X's and O's through film study, or on the field physically or in the weight room. They will be developed, and that's guaranteed. But the one thing that we will not promise is playing time, which they'll earn that. And we'll give them a good path to know how they can earn it. It won't be anything that's unknown. They'll know a clear path from each one of their coaches how to earn that, all right? And then one more point on there was progress is measured by development, not comparison. So, we get this in sports and football. We get kids saying, well, I'm the same grade as this guy. Maybe in practice we do the same things or we have the same weightlifting numbers. One thing I would say is don't compare, right? Our progress is based on who we are from yesterday to today. So us getting better from the person we were yesterday to the person we are today. So if we're comparing ourselves to others, we're not really giving ourselves a good shot at being our better self today, all right? And then teaching the game. Instruction follows a clear progression from classroom to film. So this is really important because I didn't learn this until college. So as far as on the field, thinking about how you learn, right? So you go from classroom, so we want to write down plays. So if we have a defensive play and a coverage, and we're teaching the coverage, let's say we got cover 3, which is we're playing zone third. So it's a corner in the third, it's a safety in the third, and the other field is safety in the third. We're going to write that down and show the player what that looks like, right? And after that, we're going to put it on film and show them on the film. So this is high-level college-type teaching. And after we show it on the film, we're going to go out to the field and we're going to walk through. All right, so that's a mental time that we can go. It's not a fast-paced thing. It's a slow walkthrough, and we're going to get everything that we put on paper, everything that we watched on film, And then after that walkthrough, we're gonna get in practice and do an individual period. So individual periods usually are when I get with my position coach, we're doing some type of period to where we're applying what we saw on tape, applying what we saw on paper in an individual period. So it may be doing it with a bag or doing it with one another, right? It's not a full team period. And then from there, we're gonna go to a full team period to do this technique that we learn or this play that we learn. And then after that, we're gonna watch it on film. And then we're gonna cap everything off, all right? Going back out, let's see if I missed anything on there. Yeah, so we're going to the standard here. So the standard, our standard is gonna be our standard. You're gonna hear me say that over and over again. So we commit to technical precision, disciplined effort, and physical toughness. So that's technique, precision, and discipline. So disciplined effort, and then toughness. So those are gonna be the pillars of our standard. So every day in practice, we're gonna try to display toughness, technique, and discipline and effort, all right? And excellence is built through daily discipline, kind of like that pillar I talked about, what's important now, the trust the process, that's the daily discipline that we're gonna have. All right, so I got two more, and then I'm gonna hear a lot of questions from you guys because I feel like I'm talking a lot. So here we go. Training is led by 3 full-time strength coaches. So I really wanna drive this home, and you guys know this because most of you guys have been here for a while, but we have 3 full-time strength coaches in our weight room. That's pretty much unheard of in high school sports. In college, I had probably 5 maybe or 6 strength coaches in the strength room, but we had 90 plus players. So the fact that we have 3 full-time strength coaches, and Coach Arnold does an amazing job in there. He uses a lot of technology to track metrics and keep up with some of the guys' strength and speed. That is world class, and that gives I think that gives us our edge, right? Because you get that physical edge on the field when you actually have to go play a team, and that's what does it. So I would say anytime that we've been getting this a couple weeks from now, they come home and complain and say, oh, Coach Arnold has us doing finishers or those type of things. We're building toughness, we're building character in that weight room, and that's something that nobody, probably not a lot of people in the country are doing. So I really think that's really important. And then the last thing is what's important now. We're gonna make this a pillar of the program. It's gonna be everywhere around the walls. The boys are gonna see it when they walk in film. They're gonna hear it when they're out on the field. But what's important now? So what's important right now in front of us that can get us to what our goals are, right? That can get us to what we said that we wanna go as a team. So it's gonna be good for life, right, in the classroom. What's important now is gonna be good on the football field. What's important now? So you'll hear that continuously, and the boys will get to learn. They know if it's hot outside, I'm gonna ask them, what's important now? If it's cold outside, what's important now? If you're tired, what's important now? If we're losing, if we're winning, what's important now? So I think that can apply to a lot of things. And then lastly, before we get into questions, I do want to make this known that our youth program, I don't know how many of you have little kids in the youth program, but I have a 6-year-old, 9-year-old, that will be a focus point, right? We're gonna focus on flag. We're gonna focus on 3rd and 4th grade up to 5th and 6th grade tackle. That's gonna be a developmental focus point for us, because I understand that if you can pour into that age, and if that age can rise up and see, oh, that's the high school that I wanna go to, or that I used to watch when I was in 3rd and 4th grade, you're gonna build a really strong foundation from within. So the youth program is gonna be a big focus on my end of things, all right? So I wanna get into some questions. If you do have particular questions that are individualistic, or you're talking about different things, you can reach out to me. I'll be here waiting after, and we can have a conversation, and you can reach out to me. But if you wanna start questions, if you just raise your hand, and if I don't hear you, I may ask you to repeat yourself. Anybody have any questions for me? Yes, go ahead, Mike. So spring practice schedule he asked about. I actually was working on the spring practice schedule now. One thing I'll tell you about the spring practice schedule is we're gonna play the spring scrimmage against Southwest DeKalb. And it's gonna be it's 2 dates right now we're looking at. May 9th or May 14th is the Saturday after. So with the spring practice schedule, we have 10 days that we get to practice, and one of those 10 days is gonna be that spring game. So prepare for those 10 days to come in a row. We'll probably have 1 day off in between. So we'll go 5, have a weekend off, and then do the rest. Yeah, it could potentially be the Saturday, the 14th of May. Okay, so it potentially won't be that day. So we'll look into some of those days. Those are the 2 dates that I got today. So we have to kind of work through that. Thank you for letting me know that. Anybody else? Any questions?
What's your summer look like?
Summer is going to look similar to the summer that we just had. So we're going to have weightlifting in the morning, and then it's going to be the speed and conditioning as well. So I know last year we bought in Hammersmith for speed and conditioning. We're looking at along the same lines of that. We're going to bring in a speed and conditioning coach as well this summer. And obviously the details are not worked out, but that was a small cost for families. So we'll probably have that same thing. I just feel like me as an athlete, when I went through that process, to have a separate speed coach and to be developed in just speed and then go into the weight room, it was really beneficial for me as an athlete. So we'll do that same summer, and then we'll have our competition days, and we'll go through those things. But information about the summer will come out, but if you can go back to your emails, it'll be a copy and paste essentially of our days that we had our summer workouts from that.
So summer's going to start in June?
Yes, summer starts in June to the end of July. And we'll have that break the July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, that dead week, but we'll be all go up until then, and then after that. Any more questions?
I'll ask one that a couple people have asked me. So what's it look like from a coaching staff standpoint as far as who's coming back?
Yeah.
Like what will it look like compared to last year?
Yeah, good question. I've been getting that question a lot. So right now, I've talked with my offensive coordinator, Mike Davis, who is here, and he's here. He's gave me his word. He's here for now. And then Coach Mejia is here for now. So with that being said, I'm not going to make any promises for any other coaches. Obviously, they're going to have to find out who their staff is on both sides. And also, I am not promising that one day somebody may not come up and say, hey, I'm looking into a job here or looking into a job there, just because this information is new and transition is hard. So I want to be realistic with all the parents. But one thing I'll promise you is that whoever is here for the coaching staff, they're going to have the same goals and aspirations as I have, and we're going to not miss a beat, right? We're going to take that standard and up it a little bit more. So with that being said, right now we have the coaches' retention that were here last year. Nobody's told me they're leaving.
All right, I'll ask another one that people have asked me. All right, how important do you feel like recruitment of the right people is to the program?
Yeah, I think I touched on this the other day. I think I'm going to take a view of, as Hebron, and you think about the success that we had in the past, we essentially don't need to be in the mode of go out and recruit and pull in. We need to be in a mode of talking to and accepting what God brings to us. So if you have those families that are attracted to Hebron, who have the same character that we're wanting, the same academic profile and background, and for sure are pretty good athletes, I think God will bring those to us. They'll be attracted to Hebron. But recruiting is important, but it's recruiting not by going out to try to chase or try to get somebody. It's about having those right families come in, and maybe connections from you guys as well, right? Good people know other good people. So if you guys know somebody and they're talking about Hebron and they come to you about Hebron, you can just point them toward admissions, and they can come to one of our preview days or one of our open house days. It's been pushed back until March, and I would welcome that as well. Nobody else? All right, so I am going to be here after this is over, and I'll take questions if individuals want to come and ask me questions if we don't have questions in public, but I'll be here. And also if we want to exchange numbers, we can do that as well. But it is such an honor to be here this year. I am so excited one, I don't even have an email, so I'm getting my email tomorrow. I'm excited about that, but I'm excited to get to football because really, when you think about the grand scheme of things, right, we're here to coach football, right? But we're also here to develop men and young men and Tagali men. But football is one of the passions that I'm so excited about. And we're gonna have an opportunity to do that coming up soon. And the winter's gonna be great. That's one thing I guess I can cover too. We are gonna have a winter conditioning. So it's gonna be 1 day a week. It's gonna start on March 2nd. And we're gonna call that the Winning Edge. So it's gonna be called Hebron Football Winning Edge. And it's going to be just like the crucible from the past, if you remember that. And it's going to be doing hard stuff real early in the morning. Workout's going to start at 5:45 into 7 a.m. And it's going to be 1 day a week. And we're going to do some hard stuff daily up into spring ball. So we'll take that April 6th break for spring break, and then we'll get back at it, and we'll go right up into spring ball. And that's one thing that will come out. It'll come out soon, and you'll have those dates. Go ahead. Ms. Val is not here, but I'm pretty sure we're going to use the same notifications. Yep.
Thank you, not another app.
Yep. All right, Taylor, you want to close this? Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you guys again for being here. Like I mentioned, Coach Davie will be floating around the gym. Dr. Taylor will be. I'll be also. So feel free. At this time, you guys can get up, have conversations. Feel free. I'm so glad Coach Q got to be to share his heart tonight. Just understand this. I can't wait to move forward. I can't wait to see what God has in store for us next. I've said that for 15 years. I'm excited to say the same thing for the next 15 years. So thank you guys for being here tonight, and we'll stick around for a few more minutes for you guys.